Coming up as our KXAN News special report continues, a civil rights attorney talks about LBJ's impact in American courtrooms.
He transformed the approach to civil rights.
We have a lot to live up to.
And we're also going to hear firsthand what it's like to be part of the Johnson family. We are not going anywhere. We hope that you stay with us as well as we continue our special coverage of the Civil Rights Summit in Austin.
So this week, our Robert Maxwell had a chance to sit down with Austin civil rights attorney David Richards to get his perspective on the impact of the 1964 Act that it had on the judicial system.
This goes so far back, even to the late 1950s.
Exactly.
Before President Johnson was president, even, he had a significant role in the Senate.
Johnson literally ran the United States Senate all through the late Eisenhower years and was instrumental in the passage of the first Civil Rights Act, the Act of 1957, a statute which didn't have huge substantive content, but surely was the first federal expression of concern about civil rights since Reconstruction. And it was hugely symbolic, it seems to me, and I'm sure Johnson's role was instrumental.
To deny a man his hopes because of his color or race or his religion or the place of his birth is not only to do injustice, it is to deny America and to dishonor the dead who gave their lives for American freedom.
When you think also of his appointment of Thurgood Marshall to the United States Supreme Court, albeit it was not until 1967, but if there ever was a figure who would have been, well, symbolic, it was Thurgood Marshall, not only as the first African-American, but as the general counsel for the NAACP, who had been in the forefront of all of the desegregation issues that were so bitterly, the desegregation cases were bitterly opposed by the Texas establishment. And the thought to me as I reflect on it that the Marshall appointment was, as I say, both symbolic and substantive. And there were others, including Sarah Hughes on the federal district bench and Wayne Justice on the federal district bench.
Now, 50 years on, we're looking at voters who remain disenfranchised, according to critics of the Texas voter ID law now here in 2013, 2014. Do we still have some work to go within the context of what the president was talking about?
Yeah, we surely do. I mean, people in power, as I've observed politics over the years, don't gleefully share it. They're more inclined to keep the status quo, and as we look at Texas today, the status quo is going to change seriously with the change in our population. Just the demographics of Texas they parallel the demographics of California, where Hispanic political force has become quite significant, and it's going to become quite significant in this state.
So perhaps that may be LBJ's legacy. This Civil Rights Act has a whole new context for Texas in this 21st century.
Right.
I hope it may be said 100 years from now that by working together, we help to make our country more just. More just for all of its people. I believe that at least it will be said that we tried.
He transformed the approach to civil rights, and his legacy continues. There's no question about that. And it should be honored. By politics, we were kind of not in the same realm when we got to statewide politics, but on the civil rights issue, I think he stands as tall as anyone could possibly.
David Richards, it's a real pleasure for you to have spent some time with us today.
Thank you much.